Legs make them look a lot like zebras, but they are related to giraffes. And if you get a look at the face and head, you might see that family resemblance. They have a very long prehensile tongue, just like giraffes have. If you are taking pictures, keep the cameras and cell phones handy. You never know when the animals are going to pop up. So a picture of a giraffe can turn into a really cool picture of a tree if you're trying to get a camera ready. Yeah, we'll keep looking around. Let's see what we can find. All right, right across the water, there's a black rhino there. Black rhinos can weigh about 3,000 pounds, fully grown. They're very endangered animals, only about 5,000 left in the entire world. Look at the upper lip on the rhino. It's almost like a little teeny tiny elephant trunk. It is prehensile. They use that for grabbing their food. The horns on rhinos are not actual horns. They're not attached to their skulls, and they're made of keratin, like our hair and fingernails, instead of bone. Now those horns are the reason they're hunted, and we support several groups that are working really hard to educate people about not using rhino horn products. On the right side, all along that ridge, right up here behind the bushes, the red, kind of reddish brown color animals. Those are called bongos. They're known as a ghost of the forest, even with that bright coloring. Once they get into the bushes, they blend in really well. Both male and female have horns. Now right in front of us, a beige color animal coming up on the left, that is a greater kudu. And she is a female, and we know that because she doesn't have any horns. Only the male kudus have them. And they're the second tallest antelope on the reserve. Saddle-billed stork back there. They get their name because of that yellow saddle-shaped crest on their bill. Stand about 5 feet tall, wingspan about 9 feet across. All right, we're entering the Salafi River area. Rivers and watering holes are really important to the animals, and we're going to be looking for hippos. The hippopotamus is one of the largest, and they are one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Full-grown males can weigh around 5,000 pounds. They spend most of their time in the water, and we'll look for them down there. They can hold their breath for about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on their activity level. Very territorial animals. That drives a lot of their aggression. Now, if you look to the left, there's a few hippos right behind the island. A group like that is called a bloat of hippos. They can actually fall asleep underwater. They have this special reflex when their body needs air. It will automatically rise, breathe, go right back down without having to wake them up. Hippos can swim, of course, but they tend to run or walk underwater, and that does work for them. They move extremely well. And while they don't have a typical runner's body, they are quick on land. They run up to about 20 miles an hour. And that is way faster than most of us, even riding a bicycle. Pink-backed pelicans, they get their name from the color on their backs during their mating season. Wingspan is about as wide as the benches you're sitting on. Alright, on the left there are Nile crocodiles. They're found all over sub-Saharan Africa, and they can reach well over 16 feet in length, fully grown. In the wild, they live around 40 years. In captivity, about twice that long. Go to this bridge going poli-poli. That's Swahili. It means very slow. Just around the turn on the right side of the path, there is a baobab tree, also known as an upside-down tree. And if you look at the branches, you'll see they look a lot like tree roots, giving it that name. Now we're heading into the savannah, home to some of the most famous animals. And the animals shape the landscape with their eating habits. Elephants push trees over for food. Giraffes eat the under canopy of the trees. Grazing animals eat the grass. And all of that combined gives the savannah that very clean, open look it normally has. If you look at the under canopy of the trees, there's almost a straight line all the way across out in the clearing. That's as high up as the giraffes can reach with their mouth. Those trees are delicious to them, so they eat everything within their reach. Wildebeest over here on the right side. They get their name from the Afrikaans for wild beast, easy enough. Run well over 40 miles an hour. Look all the way across on the right side. There's that truck over there. Look towards the front of it. There's a couple of animals back there behind the trees. Those are called eland. They're the largest of the antelope. And they're kind of far back, but when the truck goes by, if you compare them to the size of the people on the truck, it kind of gives you an idea of just how big they are. So when we're driving by animals, we're sitting really high up on the trucks, and it's kind of hard to gauge their size. If you get a chance to see the animals next to another truck, you can kind of compare them to the people on there, and that gives you a much better idea of them. All right, on the left, African wild dogs, also known as painted dogs. They look a little bit cuddly. They're not. They are the most successful predatory mammals in all of Africa, more than lions or cheetahs or hyenas. If you get a chance to hear them, I'm hearing them right now. They don't bark. They sound like squeaky toys. Really, really cute. We just want to go over there and pet them. It's a trap. Come to them. And I can tell you that dog all the way back to the left is higher in rank, the one that just came over, because none of the other dogs are trying to take that food from him. They're all willing to let him eat first. Listen to that, listen to that. Very cool. We don't actually hear him vocalize that often, so that's pretty cool. All right, back to the left, sable antelope. If you ever look at the logo for Harambe Wildlife Reserve, that's the animal on there, and that's because Harambe means to come together. When sable antelope are threatened, instead of scattering and running off, they actually come together and face that threat. And we're going to get a pretty good look at this eland coming up on the left now. Also, termite mounds. When they wear down like the one on the right, animals like the dogs will climb up, and it gives them a great view. And a great view of this eland. Now, again, it's kind of hard to judge the size. So this guy is about 6 feet tall at the shoulder. He weighs a little bit over a ton. And at that size, he can hop about 8 feet up in the air from a standstill. So 8-foot vertical leap from a 1-ton animal. That's a pretty impressive animal. There's a little giraffe over there by those palm trees coming up on the left. And that's a fairly young giraffe. You can kind of see if there's a couple of babies out here. I think that's like a 3-year-old maybe. Giraffes are the tallest animals. They top out at around 20 feet. These are Maasai giraffes. Have this irregular kind of jagged pattern on their coat. As we come around the turn, the little tiny guys coming up on the right side, dark striped, white belly, they kind of look like little savannah s'mores. They are called springbok, and they get that name because when they're alarmed, they start jumping or springing. Look at the little baby zebra right there. How cute is he? He was born about a month ago. Those are Hartmann's zebras. They have a very dense stripe pattern across their head, neck, and back. No stripes on their bellies. Lots more wildebeest. The little springbok back there jump really far. It's called pronking. Very cool to watch. And they are, again, the smallest antelope on the reserve, the largest on the left, the smallest on the right. And there's that giraffe on the left side. Oh, there's another one in the bushes right there. These are Maasai giraffes. Have this irregular kind of jagged pattern on their coat. The short horns on the head are called ossicones. There's another look at some more of those springbok on the right. Those guys can run up to about 60 miles an hour, so highway speeds on those little teddy legs. And that giraffe has a nice little bit of brunch there. Now a group of giraffes just kind of standing around like this over to the left, that is called a tower of giraffes. If the group is on the move, then it is a journey of giraffes. pretty self-explanatory. There's another one over there on the left. And that's actually one of the babies right there. She is about 9 months old. And there's the other baby coming out of the bushes. She's also 9 months old. And they are best friends. Mature female on the right. Look to the right under the palm trees. Check out the gigantic horns over there. Those belong to the Ankoli cattle. Those horns are made of a honeycomb material inside, and blood flows in them. They're like radiators that regulates their body temperature. All right, more giraffes coming up. This is actually one of the new moms. So one of those two babies is hers, coming up on the left here. And more zebras. Let's see if we see that giraffe's tongue come out. It's about 16 to 18 inches long on the adults. And again, it is prehensile. Now look at the bottom of the zebra's neck. There's a little bit of extra skin that kind of hangs down. That's called a dewlap. There's blood vessels in there, and that helps them regulate their temperature. On the right side, Ankoli cattle, big bull right there. Look at the span of the horns on the guy. Now, those are made of a honeycomb material inside, and blood flows into them like radiators. That regulates their body temperature. They're also known as Watusi cattle, named after the tribe that domesticated them. And they are still a symbol of wealth in some of the tribes. If you look to the right, there's a couple of elephants. Elephants are the largest land animals. Full-grown males average around 12,000 pounds. Look to the left, mandrills, largest of the monkeys. Look right here where the ropes are. There's a bunch of them right there. Little baby. They all have red and blue on their snouts. Think Rafiki. Rafiki is a mandrill. Now that baby monkey mandrill right there, she's about 9 months old. There's another little teeny tiny one. I'm trying to see if we can find her. I think her mom is sitting right at the base of these rocks. Oh, there's the alpha male in the back. Alright, so the elephant herds are made up of females and they're young. When the males reach maturity, they have to leave the herd because they get really aggressive and unpredictable. And it's just not really safe for them to be around at that point. And if you look over to the right, the one closer to us is mom, and that's her daughter right in front of her. Alright, we're going to cross another bridge. Going to go poly-poly again. As you can see, the bridge doesn't look great, and it really doesn't feel that good either, but it does hold up just fine most of the time. On the right side pattern, there are elephant tusk marks. Elephants will eat red clay that provides them with minerals missing in their diet, like a supplement for them. Researchers here at Harambe Wildlife Reserve found that elephants are really afraid of bees, so they developed beehive fences for use around farms. When the elephants bump the fence, the bees come out buzzing. The sound scares the elephants away, and we avoid a conflict between them and the farmers, and it's always a good thing. Look around and see if we might be able to find some more elephants. Now, elephants will live about 60 to 65 years on average. Their childhood is about the same as ours, around 15 years. Ours is around 17 or 20, maybe 25. Depends. As you come around the turn, there are greater flamingos. They're the largest and the lightest in color of the flamingos. And they get their color from the brine shrimp they eat, which is really high in carotene. A group of them is called the flamboyants. If you look at this side of the island, there's a lot of flamingos nesting right there. As a matter of fact, look at the nest closest to us. There's a little baby flamingo right there. You see it right at mom's beak. And there's another one right behind it. And there's another one to the right of it. That's 3 baby flamingos right there. Look at that. Very cool. Right at the base of the trees, the one with the darker legs, that's a juvenile. As it gets older, it's going to eat more shrimp, and it will develop more of that pink color. There's another baby flamingo. That's 4. Very cool. There's a few more to come. One of those babies that we saw on the other side, I think, just hatched today. There's another elephant on the left. There's another one. And really cool, there are some white rhinos right here. Now, we're going to make a point not to make any loud sounds, as they can react, and we don't want them to react. It's a bad thing. Right now, these rhinos can hear us and they can smell us, but they can't see us. They have terrible, terrible eyesight. They need to be about 10 feet away before they can see us clearly. You watch, their ears are going to pivot around. That's how they keep track of what's going on around them. White rhinos can get up to about 5,500 pounds on average. They can run up to 35 miles an hour. It's a pretty incredible thing if you think about it for an animal that big. If you're wondering what separates the rhinos from us, we do have this tall grass right here. That's a big dude right there looking at us. Well, I can't really see us, but he's listening in our direction. He's about 6,500 pounds. Those white rhinos can actually gallop like a horse. All 4 feet will come off the ground at the same time when they're running. Again, if you ever get a chance to see that, it's an amazing thing to watch. If they're running at you, it's a scary, scary thing to watch. All right, coming up on the left, there are a couple, maybe a few cheetahs laying down back there. Look right over the bushes. Cheetahs are the fastest land mammals. They run well over 60 miles an hour. They have teardrop-looking marks under their eyes that help them with the glare from the sun. And they're one of the few big cats that hunt during the daytime, so it's really helpful. Very long pigtail. The tail's like a rudder. It stabilizes them when they're running really fast, helps them make better turns. One of the differences between cheetahs and all of the other cats is that they don't have fully retractable claws. Their claws are always sticking out, and that does give them better traction when they're running really fast. Right in front of us, there are some scimitar horned oryx up there, white and rust color. Now they get that name because the horns look like scimitar swords. And really cool thing with these guys, they can go up to 9 months without drinking water at all. They get their water from the vegetation they eat. Ostrich on the right. Now, not so cool thing about those oryx. My very first safari, as soon as I said all of that, one of them ran right in front of my truck and drank water. It was their way of letting me know they can go 9 months, they just don't have to because there's water around it. It makes sense. It wasn't personal, even though he looked at me the entire time he drank every sip. Now, they also have one of the highest body temperatures of any animal, and they conserve water by not sweating until their body temperature reaches about 115 degrees Fahrenheit. They're native to the arid plains and deserts of northern Africa, so great adaptation for them. All right, on the left, look all the way across to kind of where those greenish looking rocks are. There's a warthog. There's actually 2 or 3 warthogs laying down right there. They look like hairy rocks. They are the largest burrowing mammals in Africa. They use their tusks for digging and for defending themselves. Closely related to domestic pigs, very, very aggressive. Another look at those oryx way back there. There's an ostrich over there by the bushes. If you look straight to the right, back towards some bushes, you have some ostrich eggs. Now, ostriches are the largest birds, and they are flightless, thank goodness. They can run up to about 40 miles per hour. They lay their eggs in a communal nest. That way one ostrich can sit on them, and they'll take in turns and push them all together like that. Now, when the eggs start hatching, they actually don't have any idea of which eggs belong to which ostrich, so they raise their young as a group. Have you noticed there's no ostriches sitting on those eggs? They are not fertilized. There's only female out here, and it's been that way for decades, so they stopped sitting on them a long time ago. Sometimes we'll actually have an ostrich walk in front of a truck, squat down, drop an egg, and walk away. All right, right in front of the warden's post, that yellow box hanging in there, that is a beehive fence, like I mentioned with the elephants. And it's just a beehive that hangs on cables. Now, the cool thing is, you don't have to worry about technology failing or a power outage. It's a beehive. If something bumps it, bees come out buzzing. That's what they do. Pretty much always works. Little guy right there is a Nigerian dwarf goat. We'll look around. There should be some more back in the yard. Yeah, I see some back there. Now, aside from just kind of hanging around and looking adorable, they are beneficial animals. They provide things like milk and cheese. They don't take up a lot of room, and that makes them very popular, so they've been exported all over the world. They produce a lot of milk for their size, and they can be a lot of fun to watch. All right, with that, we are at the outskirts of Harambe Village, and that does mean our safari is coming to an end. If you want to see more animals, you can walk down the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. A lot of cool stuff down there.